doctor's daughter. I hardly know her. Broadcast on the 10th of May, 2008. May the 10th be with you.
Written by Stephen Greenhorn, right? This one holds the title of Most Likely to be Skipped in a Doctor Who Marathon. Of course, Michel, you'd know a lot about skipping episodes.
I am joined, as per usual, by someone who is either a Hath sympathizer or a soldier who is a clone. I don't know which one of you is which.
I'm the man who never would. No, if I'm anyone in this video, I'm a Martha.
You're the Martha, as in you are in a completely separate plot line that really has no consequence to anything that's happening?
Yeah.
We just recorded the last one, I'll tell you quite frankly, and I had a great time there, and now I have to do the Doctor's daughter. So I really empathise with Martha.
For you to be the Martha, you would have to be over there just like talking to a water cooler who's making bubbling noises.
I'll just go over here and start talking to myself. So really, why really?
She's my daughter.
Hello, Dad.
Did you know that she's actually the Doctor's daughter in real life? So the Doctor married his own daughter.
Whoa, that's so crazy. Let's hope it doesn't overshadow her career in the near future.
You guys have too much chemistry.
For real, does that come under Oedipus complex, or is that like another thing? Do girls get their own complex?
Originally, this Jenny was gonna die. That was Russell T Davies' intention. And then, as he was writing, he felt a cold hand on his shoulder, and he looked back, and Nick Briggs leaned in a whisper, "No, she will live. I must have her. I must have her for my box sets."
We needed to address the elephant in the room. Martha, every single time she comes back, goes through the most traumatizing fucking shit. She comes back for a reset. She gets like a bug put in, like an alien bug put into her. She gets turned to an old woman by death the next episode. Then obviously Owen's, doing the same, so she's going to the back end. Then she gets turned to a clone and held in captivity for, days. Then she has to watch this fish die horribly in front of her for no reason whatsoever.
Turned into a gargoyle with no Clark.
Into gargoyle, yeah.
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah. She doesn't get a good run even when she gets out. She came back to Big Finish a few years ago, but all that added was that none of the Tortured Gang talked to her anymore.
Yeah, it's horrible.
If I was her, I'd start reconsidering that Osterhagen key.
But like the elephant in the room was like, why is Martha here? Because literally the entire Hath, like the Hath thing, I guess, is like, they want to show, the other side of this conflict, but there's nothing of note or of interest or of any kind of variation on the Hath side.
It's one of those few stories where there's nowhere to really go, and the story punishes them for trying to go somewhere.
If you want to see like the outside plant, like it's an uninhabitable, they literally tell the Doctor and Donna, it's toxic, it's uninhabitable, it's dangerous.
It's like a DM saying, no, you can't go out there, have an exciting adventure. You're in the bunker. There's the problem in the bunker. I think this story's really underrated. But even I'll tell you that it's one of the cheap ones.
Yes.
And it is blatantly trying to pad for time.
Like the laser room?
Watch and learn, Father.
Exactly like the laser room. Or the fact that there are 3 sets, all set in like some bizarre little fucking tunnel someone found.
Oh my god, you're right.
It's the real dredges of Cardiff.
Yeah. And a mud pit.
Phil Collinson desperately location scouting for any new patch of Wales they haven't used yet. We found this paintball arena.
We need it now. We need it now. Give me a mud pit.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Cardiff.
The thing that really gets me, other than the first scene where the Hath show up and fight, what else do? It might as well be like a wall. They might have been like our enemies are the wall. We hate the wall.
All right, Doug Walker.
That's the thing about me. Like they have this very cool design.
They're very sweet, bless them. By having an alien that you don't feel for when they sort of like fail the dramatic sad beat of one of them dying, because they kind of flub that, don't they?
Yeah.
Freema's acting her heart out to a drowning fish, and it's just a shame. It kind of makes the aliens feel like even more alien, and not in a good way.
Is that a yes?
Well, the Chewbacca thing where the person is saying like blah blah blah, and somebody goes, "That is a very good point," like it
I
just
am
comes
Groot.
across like that.
What do you mean you want to overthrow the Capitol, Groot?
yeah, stuff like that. Absolutely. Martha's there for no reason. The half is there for no reason. The episode has one great idea, which is that these people have been fighting for just 7 days, but they think it's been like generations.
It's like classic Doctor Who when you just pitch it with that.
That is a really good idea.
It has to open with clickbait.
Yeah.
The Doctor has a daughter.
But here's the thing.
She's my daughter.
It's such a good idea, but they never really explore it. The Doctor kind of refers like, this is the source, but like, I kind of wanted to see more of that, like them exploring what does that mean. They've only been fighting for 7 days, but they think it's been so long.
It's a tricky one, because this interesting information is relegated to a last act twist. And we can't exactly world build, because our setting doesn't allow for it. That would solve the plots. Maybe we could have seen, like, the first or second generations. That's more budget.
Yeah.
Fires of Pompeii took the budget from this one, let's just say that.
I think there's a reason why Jenny hasn't come back. It's because nobody can come up with a better idea for her. It's like, what are you going to do when she comes back? She's barely a character, barely like a presence in her own episode.
This is a very negative commentary so far.
I feel bad because in my head, it is literally, this episode is 3 minutes long. Because the stuff I remember is I remember 3 to 5 minutes to it, and I don't remember the rest.
It's just the drowning fish and Martha crying at the drowning fish. You're right in saying that, because Moffat specifically asked, please bring Jenny back, have her randomly regenerate at the end, and then never follows it up, and instead goes on to Melody Song. An adjacent idea, and it's like, yeah, no one really cared enough.
It does feel like he was like, I have a new toy, and then he looked at River Song and was like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Let go of Jenny into the trash.
I know she's got the Time Lord link, but there's really not much separating her from just like resurrecting Ross Jenkins from the Sontaran strategy.
Yeah.
For all the impact they had, we knew you for like 20 minutes, lady.
The way that as well they shoot her getting shot. This feels like an afterthought. I mean, that scene with the Doctor's like, I never would, is kind of, I think it's interesting. It's not so much as earned, but it feels kind of disconnected from like everything else we've seen so far. But I think it is kind of interesting. So
I think I'd have to politely disagree with that, actually. What's the story of the Russell T Davies Doctors? It's a time immortal wanting the one thing you can never have, a normal life, domesticity. And here he is, presented with another young blonde, one that also combines his...
Ooh.
Not like
Why
that,
is she blonde,
because
by the way?
they're all blonde, Michelle.
Okay, go for it.
It's the Peter Davison fifth regeneration gene. It's combining his Rose trauma with his Gallifrey trauma, and having that killed in front of him yet again after going a whole episode going, no, I'm not getting attached this time. I've been hurt one too many times. Inevitably happens at the 45-minute mark. Yeah, it's of course a character who's been tortured with this exact scenario season to season is going to snap eventually. And as a kid, I really loved the execution of that last scene. Such a stark image, I can't not love it.
you know, it ends with like a regeneration, but a regeneration of the world around him, rather than like the regeneration of the Doctor. Like his whole world is changing.
It's later this season that Davros tells him that he turns people into weapons, and here he is doing the exact opposite.
And I will also say, at least the Doctor's daughter gave us one Doctor Who video, which is the Doctor's gonna bust a cap in your ass video, which is one of my absolute favorites. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not. I was in London last week, just walking through West Ham, when, and I will send you the image of this, I saw a full-sized half in a shop window. This is something that can happen in London. It was powerful, being face-to-face with the half. I wouldn't be surprised if it was literally the same overalls that you would wear a couple episodes prior.
Oh, you're right. I never realized that.
I'm sort of reading a negative vibe from the three of us. How do we actually feel on the whole about the Doctor's daughter as an episode?
I don't think about it.
Like this is the fourth time I watched it in the last like 4 months. I had to watch it again today because whenever I watch it, like immediately, I'm like, I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in an episode.
I don't even think it's the weakest of series 4.
Which one do you think it is?
Partners in Crime sucks shits as an adult.
Oh,
I despise Partners in Crime
We
now.
agree with you actually. So,
But my dog's having a go at it. He agrees. I just feel like I was so wrong about all my hate towards it. I think I fell in line a bit. Like, the Doctor is a soldier. Those parallels are hammered in now, but back in the day, that was kind of gripping stuff. Those comparisons. Donna just looking at him and saying, "You are a soldier. You're a dad. You've also been a soldier." And everybody looks at him, trying to hand him a gun, being like, "Yeah, I see you. You're a general." You know, it's kind of the first to do it. In this detail, at least. The whole episode is time war grief, of course. I like that the embodiment of that grief is Jenny, and Jenny's trying to saddle him up with a gun and say, "You are a soldier. You are good at this."
A Time Lord is so much more. A sum of knowledge, a code, a shared history.
It's a solid Star Trek premise. Know what I mean?
Oh, it is. It is a solid Star Trek premise.
On this week, Riker encounters
His daughter.
this character
Yeah.
who pushes his buttons.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's odd for Doctor Who, and it might seem like filler for Doctor Who. It's fine. It's quite good, even.
I do like that scene in the cell where she's like, you're a soldier. He's ignoring that. It's like, well, you're trying to fight back against the opposing forces. Therefore, you are a soldier in this war.
You're an agent of change. I can do the same with a gun. And she does have a nice little contained arc, but it's nothing like massively impressive beyond a 45-minute block of TNG. It's not even an insult. That's quite a bit of praise, I think. How do you feel about TNG? But
I've never seen it.
I'm at the end of series 7. Oh, I've been watching too much TNG.
If this was in TNG, it would be Data rather than like Riker who gets chipped. But like Data's kind of drive to be like more human, whatever. Like if you gave Data like a daughter, like,
Data builds a daughter in the series, and everyone's like, nope, don't do that. That's fucking weird. I'm actually finding that with a lot of TNG episodes. Everyone says Doctor Who Revival was a rip-off of Buffy. We'll see if that holds water, but honestly, Star Trek. Simpsons did it, Star Trek did it.
especially when Russell was like Darmok was an influence on Midnight. Like you can see kind of like the elements of Darmok in that.
Fuck. Oh, for fuck's sake. I will one day stop loving Doctor Who entirely.
It's that Mr. Burns. Don't forget you're here forever. It's just your videos.
Donna, I've been a father before.
What?
Lost all that a long time ago.
It is a side of the Doctor that surprisingly they don't talk about a lot, even though it was there from the start. Them being like a grandparent. Isn't it time that we brought Susan back? Like,
I think the time to bring back Susan has maybe passed a little bit.
It's interesting to bring Susan up because as a kid, I come away from this episode thinking, oh, it's about how companions are like kids to the Doctor. They're like his kids. But then I'm also like, that is almost would be an interesting stance on companions and why he takes them. Then Donna and Martha are terrible picks for this story. Because one of them has a massive crush on him and the other one is like his best mate.
Also, you notice how Donna doesn't overstep her boundaries in this one? She's quite quiet. It shows that Fire of Pompeii wasn't her just being gobby. It's not her place, and she's really delicate about it, which gives Donna amazing range.
Well, the guy who plays Cobb, I think, is really good in this.
Nigel Terry.
Nigel Terry, yeah, he's a Derek Jarman regular as well. Obviously, it's very kind of a stock. It's a good reflection of 10, his time war trauma and stuff. The guy who won't relinquish this war has on him versus a guy who has learned to let go of what war was to him and to move on. At times, it's not so much the same, but I think it really has juice. You could say that he views Jenny as an extension of who he is, and how for a time he does kind of throw a bit of perhaps self-hatred onto her because she's like a time warp, but she's a soldier. She's what he was, and how he feels about soldiers now.
Again, like we said on the previous track, it's drama first, plot second, and stake second, lore second, and I think that this works in this one's favour sometimes.
the laser room really, that was the moment where I felt my soul leaving my body.
Watch this, Dad.
Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movie shit, like,
It's awesome. What do you mean, Michelle? It's so cool that she did the flips, like Mission Impossible.
I think there's a reason why Jenny hasn't come back. It's because nobody can come up with a better idea for her. It's like what are you gonna do when she comes back? She's barely a character. She's barely like a presence in her own episode.
Well, that's the problem. No one cares enough to return to this mid-season Stephen Greenhorn story. Even though it was set up to be the beginning of something else. It just never came to be. I think there's a lot to like about the story as an adult going back. Like, now I've got Journey's End and the War Doctor in mind. Yeah, that helps. But it's stuff like seeing David Tennant with dad energy. Brilliant! You were brilliant! Brilliant! Seeing Donna save the day with admin skills. That's something I really appreciate as an adult. It's cool. It's a very adult joy. I also think David Tennant chewing the scenery is awesome. I think he's the king of scenery chewing, in fact.
I mean, David Tennant chewing the scenery, he never would.
I never would.
I thought about it, and I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it.
Someone get David Tennant, like, some fucking NyQuil or something.
It's been a long time without you, my friend. Like,
If everyone says David Tennant's got, like, 3 faces, but in fairness, he's matching the brief. Russell D. Davis, he crafted a very, very sad path. The path of the world's saddest man for him to play children in the late 2000s. I love him for it.
Make the foundation of this society a man who never would.
This incarnation kind of shows, like, you know, how important a figure he can kind of see himself as. Him saying, you know, build the society off me, you know, follow what I believe in, I think is an interesting concept as well. I think it's a really yes.
How could I ever go back to normal life after seeing all this? I'm gonna travel with that man forever.
she's like, I want to be with him forever. And that was the moment she doomed herself. Oh, you're gonna die.
I really like Donna getting guidance from both her predecessors in Series 4. Rose gives her words of advice, and Arthur does like a safety check, like a thumbs up, just to see, like, he's treating you alright, is he? I just find that really funny.
Attention, Doctor Who fans, we've heard your pleas. A famous, popular character from the Russell T Davies era is back. You all love her. She's blonde and she's here. It's Jenny!
All I can say about Georgia Tennant is that she seems lovely, and also I think she deserves all the Big Finish lunches in the world.